I had never heard of Ravelry until this knitting website hit the news a couple of days ago. Sure, I knew that knitting was suddenly cool a few years back. The hipsters decided to adopt a skill previously associated with conservative grannies. But I had no idea that 8 million people belong to a social media site about knitting. The people who run the site, which has chat rooms and message forums and things, have decided that no content is allowed there anymore that is supportive of the President of the United States. No pro-Trump comments are allowed in the forums, and no patterns may be shared that feature a pro-Trump message. However, it's fine for somebody to post a pattern of a scarf that seems to have random lines on it until you view it from a certain angle, and then it spells out F Trump, and not abbreviated as I just pronounced it. A few years ago, following Donald Trump's election, a good friend of mine hosted a knitting party. She's a liberal woman and her house was filled with feminists, all knitting one thing, pink hats with little ears on them. These were the famous pussy hats, which were worn to protest Donald Trump. They had heard his locker room guy talk banter with Billy Bush when he said that if you were a star, women would let you grab their you-know-what. The man told a truth that feminists decided was a personal confession. He never said he did it. He simply said that gold diggers would allow it. Having grown up not far from Hollywood, I assure you that this news came as a surprise to precisely nobody. But they knitted hats and marched anyway. They don't care about truth. They care about making points against Republicans. I tried this morning to join Ravelry so I could poke around and tell you what I found. But Ravelry is temporarily closed to new members. So I did this instead. I Googled pussy hat pattern Ravelry. Google gave me 195,000 results, but I just looked at the first page. We had Ravelry garter stitch pussy hat pattern by Kristen D. We had pussy hat 4 gauges in the round pattern by Sarah K. Ravelry. We had knitted fitted pussy hat pattern by Lynn V. Ravelry. We had pussy hat in the round pattern by Lauren S. Knitting nest pussy hat pattern by Stacy K. and easy pussy hat pattern by Elizabeth M. These lovely women all proudly use their full names. I, being a decent human being, decided just to use their initials. These patterns and others are on the Ravelry site. All of these are just peachy, but Ravelry founder Casey Forbes tweeted that he personally deleted the pattern for a knit hat that read "Build the Wall." You see, as the head honcho over there, he's against white supremacy. Apparently, Casey bought the lie that DJT failed to condemn the white nationalists who showed up at Charlottesville. Of course he did, but his detractors don't care about the truth. At Ravelry, if you support a border wall between two sovereign nations, you are a white supremacist. It's just that simple. This site was founded by Casey and his wife in Boston 10 years ago. Obviously, they are progressives and, as such, belong to the most flagrantly prejudiced group of people now functioning in our increasingly vapid society. I spent many years as a performer in the world of folk music, where the virtue signaling can be seen from outer space. I have sat in audiences hundreds of times while hundreds of different performers casually wrote off all Republicans as subhuman scum. None of them cared a whit that there were probably some Republicans in the crowd that night. Nope, like the dimwits who run Ravelry, they assume that anybody cool enough to buy what they are selling must be a progressive. I know more progressives personally than I know conservatives. I live in Southern California. Many of them are fine people in some ways. But though they claim to be against prejudice and hatred, they prejudge people and hate them as automatically as any other bigots. They have been so thoroughly indoctrinated and propagandized that they truly believe that their compassionate love for mankind simply does not apply to conservatives. Where will this end? When will people get their fill of the Orwellian totalitarians of the left? Here we have a knitting website that has allowed people to come together around a shared enthusiasm. But now, because a few conservatives decided to push back a little against the site's obvious support of anti-Trump knitters, the administrators have declared that only those who dislike the president are allowed a voice on the site. Sure, it seems trivial, but it's not. This story shows us that this control freak mentality can and will pop up anywhere, and it punishes anyone who fails to bow in submission to the fascistic left. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, subscribe to our channel and then click the little bell to get notifications.